Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Star Trek Fleet Command. So I got a request on my last video about crew setups, and this gets a little tricky. I think I've talked a little bit about the basic crew setups for each ship, and I will quickly go over those right now. And after that, I'm going to talk more about crews that are currently broken, that really don't do anything mathematically. And then I'm also going to talk about non-traditional crew setups. And I've been working with one, and it's been really good about affecting the Gorkin crew. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my Centurion. So it's an explorer, and usually explorers have a lot of shield power, a lot of shield energy. My Centurion is definitely not following suit with that. It definitely packs much more of a punch than it does shielding and hull, but that's okay. I like ships that have a lot of attack to them. But if you're going to be using an explorer, this is going to be the basic explorer setup. Kirk, Spock, Sulu's on the fence. It could be Sulu, it could be Uhura. I tried playing with Scotty because, as you can see, I suffer from a smaller hull HP, and his ability increases hull hit points. However, it's worded a little bit differently, and I just want to show this to everyone here. It is worded as, let's see, of the original hull health. So this is not going to include the research that you do to increase that. It is going to be based on the original hull health. And unfortunately, it only adds about 3,000 hull hit points to my hull. And if I were to take that and measure it against Sulu's ability to do, let me show you here, to increase phaser fire by 25%. And keep in mind, explorers usually all have all phasers. I believe the Braille is an exception to that, and I'm pretty sure the Enterprise will be an exception. I have a feeling the Enterprise is going to have at least one torpedo on there. However, for the Centurion, it makes sense. I have 3 phasers for my attack, and Sulu makes a lot of sense for that. His ability actually procs and actually works. So that's a really good thing. So just think, on explorers, you want to go with Federation crews. It's going to be definitely Kirk and Spock. They're going to work really well together. And you could either go with Sulu, you could go with Uhura. I would almost say that, I'm not going to say Bones, because the actual mitigation numbers coming in through Bones aren't reflecting on what his ability is, and he's supposed to increase defense every round, and he does, but it doesn't do anything. So that would be my option for that. Now let's move on to Interceptors. And Interceptors are such fun ships. They're so fast, and they pack a really big hit. For instance, the Saladin. The Saladin is an interceptor, and it has 1 phaser and 1 torpedo. So you're definitely going to want to use a Gorkin crew setup. The Gorkin crew, what it does is, typically people will have Gorkin, and what he does is he has a chance of dealing a critical hit by 10% for the first 2 rounds. If he does, then he can do a hull breach. And based on that, his surrounding officers will interact with the hull breach mechanic, and I believe Kurla is one of them. No, Kurla increases the critical hit damage by 25% when firing with a torpedo. So he's gonna play along on an interceptor very well. And then a lot of people use Chang. I'm not a fan of Chang. I think his officer ability is kind of blah. I do like Chang's stats, though. I think he has incredibly high stats for the level that he is. So I would definitely play with that a lot. Koth is going to be one of them, where he will increase when you have a hull breach, he will increase the damage dealt by kinetic weapons by 15%. And I'm going to have Hugo correct me on this or not, but I believe the hull breach means the damage applies directly to the hull and bypasses the shields, as long as there is a hull breach active. So when it comes to the Saladin hits so incredibly hard. And when you have this crew on there, it's going to take you out in a couple of hits. And I'm going to come back in this video and tell you how you can defend against that. The next thing is definitely going to be warships. So warships typically have armor. They typically have a lot of firepower. The Bortus is one. The Intrepid is another. The Legionnaire is another. And you definitely want to use Romulan crew. As it stands right now, unfortunately, Romulan officers are broken, with the exception of a couple. So Nero's ability works. I've seen it in the numbers, and it works really well. Kumak is completely broken. His abilities do nothing right now. Let's see. Livis is a really good option. I really like Livis a lot because he is going to let you stay in the fight for much longer, because he is going to increase the hull health by 30% on a battleship. So if you have a Kumari or you have a Bortus, he is going to be a really good option for that. Let's go back here. All right, VMIT. VMIT decreases its shield health by an equal amount to 40% of the health of all officers on the ship. This ability is still out there, and I'm still testing it. I'm not sure if it's actually working or not. Javed, he once again goes on a battleship and increases the armor by 25%. Eric's is broken as well. So it says, as long as the ship's hull health is under 70% of the value at the start of combat, Eric's increases its armor by 30%. It is actually, what I've tested at, is when the hull health is under 30%. So right when the ship is about to be destroyed, his ability will activate. And Vela works as well. So Vela increases the total health of all officers on the ship. And as you know, health, it goes into shields and it goes into hull. So that would be the best option that you're going to have in this game. Now, if you're not at that point and you are, around level 20 and you're like, I don't have that whole crew set up, a couple of minor ones that I want to mention is going to be Chen as captain, Gonzalez, and Chev. If you're hunting hostels, they're a really great hostile hunting crew, but it needs to be hostels. It cannot be a captain in a mission, it cannot be other players. Their abilities will not work. But if you're hunting hostels and you are in a Kumari, it's great. You're in an Explorer, that's great as well. It changes a little bit when you are using a Kara, and I believe Vel is going to be a really good option for the Kira. Yeah, he will increase the damage of the torpedoes by 10%. So that's another great crew. And let's see who else I have here. As for the miners go without saying, Stone to Pring. And I like Yoquin, or Waquin. I think those three are a really great setup. This is a crew that, or let me start again. This crew specifically, I have been playing with, and I have seen incredible results with. It's Cross. Cross is such an amazing crew member to have. If you have him and you're going to war against other players, or you're doing something with other players and you really want to stop them doing what they're doing, he is good against so many captains because his captain ability decreases the effectiveness of the opponent's captain maneuver by 20%. And if you pair him with people in their group, such as I pair him with, let's see who I pair him with. I pair him with Claw. He increases the critical hit damage of the ship by 13%. And then, let's see. And then I pair him up with Komal. This is specifically against an Interceptor like a Saladin with the Gorkin setup, because Komal decreases the damage made by its connect weapons by 15%. So this is going to decrease the Saladin's really strong attack by 15%. Not only that, what's going to happen here is that Cross is going to block Gorkin's ability. And the whole Klingon setup is based on Gorkin's ability activating. So if you put Cross in with his other crew members in his group, there is a very good chance that he can block that captain ability. So all it can do is fire torpedoes, which are strong enough as it is. But for many people in the upper tiers of the game know that a Saladin with Gorkin can hit through anything mostly. So with him, he can block Gorkin, he can block Kirk's morale, he can block Nero's burning. So if you're going against those other crew, definitely if you don't have him yet, keep your eye on him and definitely try to get him. I know it's completely random and you really don't have that much control in the game, but he is definitely a great counter to all of that. The rest of the crews, I don't really play with as much. I have moved on from the cadets because their stats are so incredibly low. As you can see, I can upgrade a lot of the cadets, and the only one I'm willing to upgrade is Cadet Scotty for his warp range. And so the Cross going through Kamal, that's a really good group. These cadets here are a really good group as well. Haven't done too much with the augments. Haven't been completely impressed by them. Khan, he would definitely be a nice one to get for critical attack. Mitchell, Carol, and Keenzer, they're all part of the same group. And everyone already knows how I feel about Carol, but I love Mitchell as well. Because if you have him as an officer, every time if he's getting hit by Gorkin with a critical hit, he's going to increase the damage of the weapons by 30%. And then you have, if you have Carol and you got attacked by Gorkin on a Saladin, then she's going to lower their weapon ability by 40%. Keep in mind, Mitchell's increasing your weapons by 30%. And then she's going to increase the weapon damage of the ship by 20%. So that is definitely one of the crew setups I wish I could get. It is definitely, if things don't change in the game, it's definitely going to be a long grind for it. So I'm not too worried about it. Zara, Mbenga, and 0718, not impressed with them. Their stats are way too low. The miners, I like. Miners definitely have a specific purpose for whatever they're mining. Don't really pay attention to Pike, Moreau, and Leslie, Darwin. Hadley and Hendorf, those are experience building officers. That mechanic is currently broken in the game. All these crew that we have not seen yet, haven't played with them at all. So hopefully this video helps you to kind of understand a little bit more in the game. I'm glad that we finally have a counter crew. I really want to test a lot more with the counter crew, so I'm going to be asking some people from my server to kind of show by example of what Cross can do, how effective and how reliable his abilities are to activate so you can counter effectively. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, subscribe, like, comment down below, be kind to one another, and I will talk to you later.